What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Tiebreaker Barber here, and today you will be watching my first essay of a video game, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Call of Duty has a very special place in my heart ever since I started out World at War back in the day, and I will be giving my honest opinion on how I feel about 2020's entry to the franchise. Now, this video will be broken up into three different parts: campaign, multiplayer, and zombies. I sure do hope you enjoy this video, as I have spent literally countless hours working on it. Enjoy! Alright, so first, campaign. This game takes place about 13 years after the original Black Ops that we know and love. Now, there are really two main characters in this game: Bell, the protagonist, and Adler, the other protagonist. I know that was named weird, but that's all I had, honestly. The game starts off paying homage to the original game by you, Alex Mason, lighting up his car like he did all the way back in the original. You're there to track a lead on Perseus. He is the main villain of the game. Mason, Woods, and Adler chase this guy across the rooftops until you finally catch up with him. He gives you what you want, and you either kill him by throwing him off the roof, or you spare him. This is basically just Call of Duty Cold War has a like morality system, I suppose, so you can choose to do the good thing or the bad thing. It really doesn't affect all that much in the game, but it's there. Um, which after that mission, it leads to Mason and the boys to assassinate. They have to assassinate a Perseus operative, like a commander in Perseus' group. But something goes wrong as the Perseus operative. He starts shooting two guys in the vehicle. But then Woods asks you to assassinate him, and you pull the trigger, and his henchman ended up getting in your way, and he ate the bullet instead of you. But in the end, you kill him. You kill the Perseus operator. Next leads you to creating your correct character. You can't do much to edit him. All you really know is his name is Bell, and Bell apparently worked in Vietnam with Adler and his friend. You go on a memory trip down memory lane where you took a detour from the main assignment you were assigned in Vietnam and at the Ripcord base, and you found some secret Perseus intel. And the CIA, they can't crack it. The MI, whatever the British equivalent of the CIA is, they could not decipher it. But you, Bell, decipher it. And long story short, I'm going to sum this up because I don't want this video to be too long. Uh, Long story short, Adler is running out of time and he has had enough of your lack of cooperation. So he starts injecting truth serum into your eye, which leads to the reveal that you were one of the two people who were shot in the car at the beginning of the game. I know, that's some crazy stuff right there. Basically, after they kill the Perseus operator, they come to the truck and they see you there with the intel on you. Uh, and none of that was real Vietnam stuff. Those are all Adler's memories and not yours. It makes more sense if you play the game. I recommend you play this game before you watch this video. Of course, I should have probably said at the beginning. But yeah, it has a twist like Black Ops 1, and I think it's a pretty good twist. But you really only have two endings. You have a good ending and a bad ending. The former is obviously canon because of Black Ops 2, but that's if they don't retcon Black Ops 2, because Modern Warfare takes place in 2019, Black Ops in 2025. They're close, but they don't really share any technology. But I kind of digress because I don't think they were even trying to make. I know they weren't trying to make a coordinated campaign together back in the day, so they might just retcon a bunch of stuff in Black Ops 2. But anyways, the bad ending is where you lie to Adler, and you can either ambush them or you can basically commit suicide by Mason Woods and Adler. They will shoot you to death, and all the nukes go off in Europe. With every country, they're going to be blaming America for all the nukes going off because Operation Greenlight was America had a nuke in almost every major city in Europe to stop any Soviet invasions. They just detonated off of Perseus. He found out the plan, and he took control of all the nukes. So, yeah, that's not good. But the good ending is where you stop all the nukes from going off. And the ending is pretty confusing, I think, because basically Adler's like, you did a good job. I just want you to know, no hard feelings. And then you have like a duel with him. It's a pretty cool scene. And we are not told who lives, but if you go to the multiplayer character selection, which is canon to the main storyline, which that will spawn a completely another video of its own. You can play as Adler, not Bell. So obviously, Bell got shot and killed at the end of the game. Unless it's like some plot twist they didn't die, but I highly doubt it. Alright, next we're going to be on going on to the multiplayer side. The first topic that I would like to go over is SBMM, which otherwise known as skill-based matchmaking, and all the negative things I found out about the multiplayer, or all the negative things I find about the multiplayer. My bad. Those of you who are out of the loop and do not understand, let me explain. So SBMM makes it where you face people that are as good as you or even better than you at the game, based on a number of factors. I will link some other people's video down in the description that will be able to explain it way better than me, but let me explain why I have a problem with it. You can fundamentally make the game a pain to play. No more are the days where you hop on COD for a nice casual match now. Now you be placed in a sweaty ass lobby. You are better off literally playing in CDL championships than you are playing a nice casual match. Now you might be assuming that this game is completely unplayable. Nah, this is not always the case. Sometimes you might get lucky and get an extremely easy SBMM lobby, but unfortunately that is next to none. It's extremely rare. Another negative is the lack of content for the multiplayer. Yes, the lack of content in a modern COD game. Go figure. Now, to cut Treyarch some slack, they did not have the right amount of time they needed to release this game, and it is a miracle that it ever released really. Daddy Activision has to have their quota met every year no matter the cost, and even through a pandemic. But I digress. Cold War suffered from a lack of regular 6v6 maps, which are basically just your normal Call of Duty ever since 4. You have 6v6 maps, 6 players versus 6 players, obviously, and that's your normal COD. But we didn't get very many in this game. We got 2 new maps in Season 1, and 1 new map at the beginning of Season 2. And not very much in Season 3, which is simply pathetic for a billion-dollar video game franchise. Guns-wise, I really can't complain, but it has nothing on how many guns are in Modern Warfare. But I suppose things will be different after after the final season releases and the next game starts up. But for now, we didn't really get all that many at launch. I think it was like 25, which isn't very many. Now for the good parts of the multiplayer. Despite how much trash I have been talking about the multiplayer, I enjoy it for the most part. You may be asking me, why would I enjoy the game's multiplayer? I really enjoy grinding for DM Ultra. Now, for those of you who do not know what this is, it is a mastery camo. A mastery camo is what you get for mastering every single gun that the game is released with. I might make a video on it later, on a later day, about how interesting and fun it is to get the mastery camo. But it won't be in this video because that would take quite a bit of time. But that is all for the multiplayer side of the game. And I could have gone in more in detail, but I did not want to make this video even longer than it already is, of course. Now, on to zombies. Third and finally, zombies. This is going to be by far the longest part, and I am going to go about it like this. D-Machine, Onslaught, Firebase Z, Outbreak. I will have timestamps in the description below for each of these. But before we go into the maps and such, let me talk about the upgrade systems. Now, this game has took a totally different approach than any other games in the Call of Duty franchise. You upgrade everything with raw Ethereum, refined Ethereum, and flawless Ethereum. They did an absolutely fantastic job with this, so let me explain why I think this works extremely well. To get these upgrades, you simply need to play the game, and a lot of it at that. The first 2 types of Ethereum are pretty easy to get in general, but the final tier is much more time consuming and harder to get. You need to get to high rounds in both Outbreak and regular survival zombies. Now, these upgrades do all sorts of things, from simply making your shotguns more powerful to fusing basically, you buy perk upgrades, which is basically like fusing 2 perks together, like Who's Who from Black Ops 2 and Tombstone, obviously. Besides the time-consuming upgrades, there's even more time-consuming things to do, like Dark Ether Mastery Camo. And I might also make a video about that in the future. I will think about it, of course. Now on to the main zombies attraction, D-Machine story. I will not be going extremely deep into this, otherwise we might be here for even longer. And I've already taken up a bunch of your time, so I will spare you. This map is the first to kick off the Dark Ether storyline, taking place, I believe, 20 years after the events of Tag or Toten, when Nikolai sent everything in the original Ether storyline to the Dark Ether to make a new universe that does not have the horrors of the zombies. That was until the Nazis accidentally used a particle accelerator to rip a hole through space-time. Samantha Maxis from the original storyline tipped Weaver to this facility, so Weaver and his team to survey the facility and destroy it. Now this might sound boring at first, but to me it hits extremely different. Let me explain, of course. Now, since this takes place in the same continuity as the OG Ether story, but since Nikolai collapsed the original Ether multiverse to create a new one, not soiled by 115, but it's not soiled by 115, and a zombie's curse. Get this, he creates the Black Ops campaign universe, which is also connected to Modern Warfare 2019 universe, which makes some obscure intel from the computer in Black Ops 1 about Captain Price's dad wanting to assassinate Hudson Mason Weaver kind of relevant because he also has a operator in Cold War, Captain Price. There's some weird conspiracy theories about how he's a time traveler, but I will not go into that because that makes no sense. And it looks like the plan to assassinate them failed, in all honesty. Also, Sam and Weaver communicated on the terminal, which made no sense back in 2010, but now it makes a hell of a lot more sense, honestly. Also, a really interesting character in Dark Ether. He, we just found out who it was. It was the guy in the campaign or in the trailer for the zombies mode. He got locked up and sealed away the particle accelerator. Tried to, anyways. He fixes all the perks. He basically finds all the perks. He fixes them by basically fusing a bunch of things together. But we also found out that the new enemy type, the new enemy villain, which is the one which is most likely Dr. Monty and the Shadow Man fused together. But I won't get into that because we don't have a whole lot of evidence of it, even though there is quite a bit of it, but not a whole lot. Which is basically how we got the Der Wonderfist machine. Long story short, Requiem destroys the facility in Poland and heads to their next objective, Firebase C. Gameplay. The gameplay of this year's entry to Zombies is familiar, yet new. For instance, instead of a 3 or 2 hit down system, you start off with at least a 5 hit down, which is basically your max health in every zombie experience, except for Black Ops 4. The zombies at certain milestones will start hitting you harder. For instance, in round 1, it's about 4 or 5 hits to go down. And then around 50, I believe it's 2 or 3 hit with Jug and Armor. Also, Armor has now taken partially from the books of World War II Zombies mode, and it basically works how you think it would. When a zombie damages you, it takes armor and a little bit of health. Now, as I said earlier in this video, with all the upgrades for the perks, that is a major change to zombies. In this game also, the zombies also drop tactical items like grenades, stuns, armors, etc. Also in this game, you can make your loadout in the game menu and go, like, you can go into the game with whatever you want, be it an AR-15 or a rocket launcher. Now I'll be talking about Onslaught. I'm going to start with the story first. The game mode is sadly only available on the PS4 and 5. Sorry, Xbox and PC users, but you're not missing out on much, if anything. Now, I wrote this segment before Onslaught got its update, so I will update it. I might make an update video about the new Onslaught, but for now I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to let you hear my original thoughts of it starting now. But the story of Onslaught is told through a variety of intel, which is not all that bad because it does do some good world building. Now the gameplay. The gameplay is exactly like the Machine, but it's a little bit different. The game mode relies almost entirely on RNG, which is just garbage in my opinion. There's not a pack-a-punch machine or a perk machine. You got to hope you get what you want from the mini bosses once every 3 surges. If you do not get an epic item as early as possible, you could be very well stuck with a common item. That means certain death for the higher surges. And that goes for perks as well, because you might not get Juggernaut in the first 3 surges. It might be your last one. And then this game also has a 7 perk limit cap. Or you don't get the new perk is what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say. Firebase story. This map is basically a rescue mission to save Samantha. After the Machine, Sam decided to take matters into her own hands and raid the overran Firebase, but was caught by a scientist named Peck. Peck is an American traitor who went to the side of the Soviets for now. We don't know why she went there for unknown reasons. Basically, she went there for unknown reasons. He tried to interrogate her like he was ordered to, but he basically said, "I am tired of this bullshit," and he threw her in the Dark Ether for an experiment to see how long a person could survive in the Dark Ether. So Requiem invade Firebase and talk to an injured informant that Maxis knows, and he helps us successfully fight Peck with an Ethereum-made truth serum. And Peck tricked us after the effects wore off, but in the end, we pulled Sam out of the Dark Ether. Something about her has changed. Her eyes are the color of the dark ether itself. She was only in the ether for 3 days, but time works differently there. And it was basically 3 months. Time works is extremely different in the dark ether. It fluctuates, so it might be 1 hour there, it might be 1 hour here in the real world, but 1 hour there might be 1 week here in the real world. It just depends on how it's feeling, I suppose. As we escape the facility, we get blocked by a huge elder god named Orda. After taking him down, Sam decides it is a good time to talk to Weaver about what? We actually have no clue as of now. Revenant talks about the Ur Mountains, which is Outbreak. I really like foreshadowing because it was foreshadowing Outbreak before it even occurred. But as far as my knowledge is, we don't know what she's talking about. We think she's talking about the next DLC map. If that actually comes out anytime soon. We're going to be talking about gameplay next. The gameplay is the same as Die Machina, but every 10 rounds after 15, you get a holdout round. What is a holdout round? A holdout round is like a tower defense mode, and it is awesome. After about round 30, the Order shows up and adds some extra challenge to it. Outbreak story. Editor's note. As of writing this video, we only have the base Outbreak mode with its most streamlined objectives. I will most definitely make an update video on it after the new update is coming out. After the new update comes out. Also, Outbreak takes place sometime after the ending of Firebase Z. The Ural Mountains have been affected and it is overrun by a ton of zombies. We need a lot more intel to explain what's going on, but that might actually be there. I just haven't gone back and actually looked at any of the new intel. Gameplay. Gameplay is pretty simple. It is basically what you know and love from the Cold War Zombies formula, but with a twist. It is basically an open world zombies game where you are dropped off at the beginning of 1 of 3 maps. You start up with your starting loadout. Of course, you know the drill from the previous entries, but this game mode is a little bit different from normal survival zombies. You have 1 of 4 objectives. The objectives are defend a rover, get intel from a zombie's head, kill a HVT or a high value target, hold out in a location in the dark ether, and deposit Ethereum in a rocket to send it back to HQ. Head, defend, protect, kill, and deposit. This is the basic formula, rinse and repeat. But you also have a few side missions you could do if you want to access some extra ammo, armor, perks, and even the chance for one of the 3 wonder weapons that are available so far in Cold War. Which isn't, there's more than 3. There's technically like 6 if you want to count what is it called? The Die Machina's wonder weapons variants, if you want to count them. The side missions are as followed. Feed a dragon head and launch it into space. I am not kidding. A loot chest in a dark ether comes down and you have to fight a ton of zombies. And last but not least, a revenge quest where Reaver tasks you to get revenge on some local high value targets that basically killed some of his men. This is the basic formula for the Outbreak mode. And of course I could go more in depth, but I will link a video in the description of a better video for that. My final thoughts on Cold War as of the writing of this video. I thought the campaign was a pretty solid entry, and I think it was the best one we've had since Ghost, arguably maybe Advanced Warfare. They're really underrated. Multiplayer as of now is sweaty, but an enjoyable game mode, depending on how sweaty it is. Die Machine is probably the most hated zombies map in this game as of now, and I cannot understand why. I love this map. Its atmosphere is new and chilling, but with some familiarity. I have a lot of faith in this new storyline, and I cannot wait for more to come to this game. But Onslaught isn't not very good, and it's mediocre at best. I am getting a headache talking about this game mode, but that was before the other update came out the new update came out for Onslaught, and it's actually really fun now. I went back and played some of it, and it was really fun. I don't mean anything about Onslaught that I say now, but I needed y'all to hear my original thoughts about Onslaught. I didn't want to lie to y'all. But Firebase Z is a pretty good map, but I don't like it as much as the previous entry, and like I said earlier in the video, I'm writing to what Outbreak if it is in its infancy, and basically it is just a beta. The Outbreak is basically a beta right now. I think this game mode has some potential. The community has taken a really good liking to this mode, even after a few weeks have passed. This mode, of course, really needs some content, just like most things in Cold War, am I right? All in all, I have a lot of faith in this game mode. I really like this game mode. It's pretty good. I think it's quite underrated because people think Modern Warfare is better, which it really isn't, in all honesty. I hope you enjoyed this video. You like, subscribe, follow my Twitter and stuff, and I'll see y'all in the next video. I believe my next video is going to be near Replicant review. That's gonna take a while, but I will have it out, and I'm also planning on doing some other mini videos. I'll try to have a video out once or twice a week, and I hope y'all enjoy this video. All right, bye bye.